The sky tore open. It happened on an ordinary Tuesday. People went to work, children played in parks. Nothing seemed unusual. Then, the sky, our familiar blue ceiling, ripped apart. Giant metallic ships descended, casting an ominous shadow upon the world. They came without warning, these visitors from beyond the stars, and with their arrival, humanity's understanding of existence shattered. The ground trembled beneath the weight of their impossible vessels. Fear, raw and primal, gripped the hearts of every man, woman and child. Whispers of ancient prophecies and science fiction nightmares turned into a horrifying reality. The world watched in disbelief as the ships disgorged their occupants, beings unlike anything we had ever imagined. Their forms were strange, unsettling, defying the laws of nature as we knew them. Some described tentacles, others spoke of glowing eyes and metallic skin. But one thing was clear. Earth was no longer ours. The invasion had begun. Panic spread like wildfire. Cities, once bustling hubs of human life, descended into chaos. Streets became choked with vehicles, horns blaring in a symphony of fear. People fled their homes, seeking solace in numbers, only to find themselves swept along in a tide of desperate humanity. Governments, caught completely off guard, struggled to maintain order. News channels, their usual programming replaced with emergency broadcasts, showed images of destruction and pandemonium from every corner of the globe. The world held its breath, united in fear and uncertainty. Communication lines jammed, the airwaves thick with static and desperate pleas for help. The internet, once a source of information and connection, became a breeding ground for rumors and misinformation. The world, so recently connected by technology, was now fractured and isolated. In the midst of the chaos, one question echoed in the minds of billions: what would become of humanity? Survival became the primary instinct. Families huddled together in basements seeking shelter from the unknown. Others fled to the countryside, hoping to find safety in isolation. The world had become a dangerous place, and every stranger a potential threat. Underground bunkers built for Cold War scenarios that now seemed quaint in comparison filled to capacity. Mountains, once places of peace and recreation, became havens for those seeking refuge in their imposing heights. Humanity, forced into survival mode, adapted to its new reality. But even in the darkest of times, hope flickered. Stories of courage and compassion began to emerge. Neighbors helping neighbors. Strangers sharing food and shelter. Ordinary people rising to extraordinary challenges. The human spirit, though battered, refused to be broken. For in the face of unimaginable adversity, we discovered a resilience we never knew we possessed. A will to survive that burned brighter than the fires of destruction raging around us. Silence became our shield. The aliens, with their advanced technology, seemed to possess an uncanny ability to detect human activity. Every flickering light, every crackling radio signal could mean the difference between life and death. We learned to move like phantoms, our footsteps muffled, our voices hushed. Camouflage became an art form, blending with our surroundings, becoming one with the shadows. The world, once awash in the noise of human activity, settled into an eerie stillness. Underground networks of tunnels and bunkers became our sanctuaries, places where we could gather in relative safety, share what little supplies we had, and plan our next move. For we knew that hiding was only a temporary solution. To survive, we needed to understand our enemy. And so, even as we sought to evade their gaze, we also watched and listened, gathering every scrap of information we could about these strange beings who had claimed our world as their own. Section 5, Fight or Flight, the difficult choice between bravery and survival. The instinct to fight burned strong in some, to resist, to defend our home against these invaders. Small bands of survivors, armed with whatever weapons they could scavenge, formed pockets of resistance, launching daring raids against alien patrols. They were outmatched, outgunned, facing an enemy with technology centuries ahead of our own. Yet they fought with the courage born of desperation, knowing that every blow they landed, every alien soldier they took down was a victory for humanity. But for many, flight was the only option. To escape the cities, to disappear into the wilderness, to find a place where the aliens wouldn't or couldn't follow. It was a perilous journey, fraught with danger at every turn, but for some it was the only chance at survival. And so humanity fractured, splitting into those who fought and those who fled, each path fraught with its own unique set of challenges and dangers. Yet whether they chose to fight or flee, one thing united them all: the will to survive. Section 6, United we stand, the power of humanity in the face of fear. In the darkest hours we found strength in each other. The bonds of family, friendship, and community forged in the crucible of fear and shared hardship proved to be unbreakable. We learned to rely on each other, to share what little we had, to offer comfort and support in a world turned upside down. Stories of selfless acts of heroism, of people risking their lives to save strangers, of communities coming together to protect the vulnerable spread like wildfire, reminding us that even in the face of unimaginable horror, the human spirit could not be extinguished. We rediscovered the power of empathy, of compassion, of the fundamental goodness that resides within us all. For it was in our shared humanity, in our capacity to care for one another, that we found the strength to endure, to resist, and ultimately to hope. The aliens may have taken our world, but they could never take our spirit, our resilience, our unyielding belief in the power of humanity. Section 7. Turning the tables, understanding alien technology. Survival depended on knowledge. We had to understand our enemy, to learn their strengths and weaknesses. And so, even as we fought for our lives, we also studied them, observing their movements, analyzing their technology, searching for any advantage we could find. Scientists and engineers working in secret labs and hidden bunkers risked their lives to unravel the secrets of alien technology. Every salvaged piece of wreckage, every captured device was meticulously examined, studied, reverse engineered. Gradually, we began to piece together the puzzle of their technology, their weapons, their communication systems. We discovered their vulnerability, their weaknesses, the chinks in their seemingly impenetrable armor. Knowledge, as they say, is power. And with each new discovery, with each technological breakthrough, a glimmer of hope emerged from the darkness. For we were learning to fight them on our own terms, to turn their technology against them. Section 8, the science of survival using knowledge as our weapon. Desperation bred innovation. We lacked their advanced weaponry, their spaceships, their seemingly magical technology, but we had something they underestimated: human ingenuity. Our scientists and engineers, working tirelessly, began to develop our own countermeasures. Using salvaged alien materials and repurposed human technology, we created new weapons, new defenses, new ways to even the odds. We turned their technology against them, exploiting their weaknesses, turning their strengths into liabilities. We learned to jam their communications, to disrupt their sensors, to turn their own weapons against them. The tide began to turn, slowly but surely, as we transformed from prey to predators, from victims to warriors. The fight was far from over, but for the first time since that fateful day when the sky fell, we dared to hope. We had learned to adapt, to innovate, to fight back against an enemy that had once seemed invincible. Section 9, Hope Endures, a testament to the human spirit. The human spirit, it turned out, was more resilient than any weapon. We had faced our darkest fears, endured unimaginable hardships, and emerged from the crucible stronger than ever before. We had learned the true meaning of courage, of sacrifice, of the unbreakable bonds that unite us all. The fight for our planet was far from over, but we had learned to fight back. We had learned to survive. And in the process, we had rediscovered the very essence of what it meant to be human. We had learned that even in the darkest of times, hope endures. That even when all seems lost, the human spirit can overcome any obstacle. And that as long as even a single spark of hope remains, we can never be truly defeated. The aliens had underestimated us, mistaking our resilience for weakness, our compassion for vulnerability. They had failed to understand the indomitable spirit that resides within every human heart. Section 10, A New Dawn, Rebuilding and Remembering. The war was long, brutal, and costly, but in the end it was humanity that prevailed. We drove the invaders back, reclaimed our planet, and began the long and arduous process of rebuilding our shattered world. The scars of the invasion ran deep, but so too did the lessons we had learned. We emerged from the conflict a changed species, forever marked by the experience, but also forever strengthened by it. We had learned the importance of unity, of collaboration, of harnessing our collective ingenuity to overcome even the most daunting of challenges. We rebuilt our cities, our societies, our lives, carrying with us the memory of those we had lost and the lessons they had taught us. We vowed to never again be caught unprepared, to never again underestimate the power of human resilience. The invasion had been a crucible, forging us into a stronger, more united species. We had stared into the abyss and emerged from the other side, forever changed, forever grateful for the precious gift of life, and forever determined to build a better future for ourselves